The Last Hunter. Commander Maya Reeves sat cross-legged in the center of her cell, eyes closed, breathing measured. The translucent energy barrier that contained her hummed with a constant, irritating pitch. Designed, she suspected, to fray the nerves of prisoners. The Kavarians had clearly studied human psychology, but not well enough. The ship's recycled air tasted metallic. Maya counted her heartbeats, kept them steady despite the tension coiling through her muscles. 20 days in captivity. 20 days since Earth's apparent fall. 20 days of planning. Outside her cell, 3 Kavarian guards argued in their clicking language. Their exoskeletons gleamed under the harsh lighting, midnight blue with golden insignias marking their rank in the Dominion's hierarchy. The tallest one, whom Maya had mentally nicknamed Clicks, approached the barrier. Human commander, it rasped, mandibles twitching with what Maya recognized as excitement. Supreme General Vexorn arrives. You will stand. You will show respect. Maya opened her eyes but didn't move. Her prison jumpsuit hung loose on her frame, a deliberate strategy on her part, skipping kneels just enough to appear weakened. You know, she said conversationally, where I come from, respect is earned, not demanded. Clicks jabbed a chitinous appendage against the control panel, sending a warning shock through the cell. The jolt was meant to be painful, but Maya didn't flinch. Earth traditions mean nothing now, the guard hissed. Your world belongs to the Dominion. Your species is classified. Conquered. Maya finally rose, fluid and controlled despite her restraints. The movement was deliberately smooth, a reminder to herself as much as to them that she was far from broken. Funny thing about classifications, she said with a hint of a smile. They can be wrong. A door hissed open at the far end of the detention block. The guards immediately straightened, their postures shifting to attention. The figure that entered moved with cold precision, its exoskeleton a deep crimson etched with intricate patterns of conquest. Hundreds of worlds, thousands of species, now represented in the living record of Supreme General Vexorn's armor. So, Vexorn said, approaching the cell. His voice was unexpectedly melodious, almost pleasant, if not for the undercurrent of predatory satisfaction. The last of Earth's vaunted Special Operations Command. Maya met the alien's compound eyes, 4 glittering orbs that studied her with clinical interest. I've studied your career extensively, Commander Reeves. Vexorn continued. Your tactics in the lunar defense were unorthodox, fascinating, even. It's why I ordered your capture rather than your execution. Should I be flattered? Maya asked, her voice dry. You should be honored. Few specimens are selected for my personal collection. The word specimen sent a chill down Maya's spine, but she kept her expression neutral. There's something I've always wondered about your species, Vexorn said, circling the cell. You faced extinction, yet many of you continued fighting when surrender would have preserved lives. Explain this irrationality. Maya considered the question. Behind it lay the key to why the Kavarians had never truly understood their human adversaries. You wouldn't get it, she said simply. Anger flashed across Vexorn's features, an emotion Maya had learned to recognize even on alien physiognomy. Your arrogance is misplaced. We have conquered 16 galactic sectors. We have categorized and studied over 12,000 sentient species. There is nothing we do not understand. Maya's lips curled into a smile. And yet here you are, asking me to explain humanity to you. The Supreme General stared at her, mandibles twitching with irritation. Then he turned to Clicks. Prepare the prisoner for transfer to my research vessel. I want full biometric monitoring during the interrogation. As Vexorn departed, Maya caught a glimpse of something on a monitor behind the guards. A status display of the ship's systems. A tiny red indicator flashed in the corner. Right on schedule. You know what the problem is with your Dominion? Maya asked as Clicks deactivated the energy barrier, weapon trained on her. Silence, human, the guard ordered. Your problem is classification, she continued, as if she hadn't heard. You put everything in neat little boxes. Conquered. subjugated, extinct. Maya stepped forward as the restraints around her wrists beeped and disengaged. A malfunction that was no malfunction at all. But humans, her voice dropped to a whisper. We don't stay in boxes. The lights flickered once, twice, then plunged the detention block into darkness. Emergency illumination kicked in seconds later, bathing everything in a red glow. By then, Maya was already moving. The first guard fell before he could raise the alarm, a precise strike to the junction where exoskeleton met flesh. The second managed to fire a wild shot that Maya dodged with practiced ease, the energy bolt sizzling past her ear as she closed the distance and struck. Clicks backed away, weapon raised. How? The guard began. Did you really think I got captured by accident? Maya asked, advancing steadily. 20 days, watching your protocols, your shift changes, your security systems. 20 days of you thinking you were studying me, when I was studying you. An alarm began to wail throughout the ship. Clicks fired, but Maya was no longer where the shot was aimed. She moved like shadow, like water, flowing around the energy bolt and driving her fist into the guard's sensory cluster. Clicks dropped, unconscious. Maya quickly stripped the guard of its weapon and communication device. She needed to move fast. Phase 1 was complete. Now came the hard part. In the corridor beyond the detention block, chaos had erupted. The ship's systems were malfunctioning across multiple decks, life support fluctuating, gravity wavering, communication arrays scrambled. None of it random. All of it precisely according to plan. Maya slipped through the corridors, avoiding the main thoroughfares where Kavarian soldiers rushed to their battle stations. She had memorized the ship's layout during her captivity, piecing it together from guard conversations and glimpses of control panels. The hangar bay was 14 levels down. Between her and extraction point waited approximately 200 elite Kavarian warriors. Terrible odds for anyone else. For Maya Reeves, the last hunter of Earth, it was just another day at the office. She paused at an intersection, checking the communicator she'd taken from Clicks. Kavarian command channels were in disarray, their orderly military protocols breaking down as system after system reported inexplicable failures. They were searching for sabotage, for infiltrators, for an attack force, looking everywhere except at their supposedly helpless human prisoner. A squad of guards rounded the corner, spotting her immediately. Their leader barked an order in their native tongue, weapons rising in unison. Maya didn't hesitate. She fired 2 precise shots, diving forward as the corridor erupted in energy bolts. Rolling beneath the barrage, she came up inside their formation, turning their tight grouping against them as they struggled not to hit each other. 3 more went down before they could adjust. The 4th managed to slam a hardened appendage into her side, sending pain lancing through her ribs. Maya absorbed the blow, used the momentum to spin and drive her elbow into a weak point in the Kavarian's armor. The 5th and final guard backed away, frantically calling for reinforcements. Maya silenced the call with a well-placed shot, then continued her descent toward the hangar. The ship shuddered around her, more systems failing, more chaos spreading. Hidden in the randomness was a pattern, a carefully orchestrated symphony of disruption that she had set in motion the moment she allowed herself to be captured. No one on the massive Kavarian flagship realized that their most secure systems had been compromised weeks ago, infected with a virus that had remained dormant until now. A virus that Maya had carried within a specialized implant beneath her skin, designed to interface with alien technology once she was inevitably scanned during processing. In the hangar bay, alarms blared as atmospheric containment fields fluctuated. Kavarian pilots rushed to their fighters, preparing to repel an attack that wasn't coming. At least, not from outside. Maya crouched behind a stack of supply crates, surveying the bay. Her target sat at the far end, a sleek Kavarian scout ship, small enough to be piloted by a single operator, but fast enough to outrun anything the Dominion could scramble after her. Between her and the ship stood a dozen armed guards and a wide-open expanse of hangar floor. No cover, no concealment, no easy path. A voice thundered over the ship-wide communication system. Vexorn, his melodious tone now sharp with anger. Attention all units. Human prisoner has escaped. Security protocols Omega-9 are now in effect. Capture is authorized. Lethal force is authorized. Maya checked the weapon she'd taken. Energy reserves at half. Not enough for a direct confrontation with 12 guards. She needed a diversion. Her gaze fell on the hangar's control station, a raised platform overlooking the bay, where Kavarian officers monitored all incoming and outgoing traffic. If she could reach it. A plan formed in her mind. Risky, improvised, with too many ways to fail. Exactly the kind of plan that had earned her reputation on Earth. Maya took a deep breath, centered herself, and then broke cover, not toward the scout ship, but toward the nearest fighter being prepped for launch. The Kavarian pilot didn't see her coming until it was too late. Maya vaulted onto the craft's wing, delivered a stunning blow to the cockpit. The fighter's controls were alien but navigable. Maya had studied enough captured Kavarian technology during the war to understand the basics. Power up. Weapons systems online. Targeting active. Guards shouted, converging on her position. Energy bolts struck the fighter's hull as Maya sealed the cockpit and rotated the craft's nose toward the hangar's fuel depot. She didn't need to destroy it, just threaten it enough to trigger the automated safety protocols. The fighter's targeting system locked onto the fuel cells. Maya fired a single warning shot that struck just beside the volatile containers. Immediately, emergency containment fields snapped into place around the depot, and more importantly, klaxons wailed as the hangar's automated systems ordered an immediate evacuation. In the resulting confusion, with Kavarian personnel rushing to escape a potential explosion, Maya abandoned the fighter and sprinted across the hangar floor. She reached the scout ship unchallenged, slipping inside and activating its systems with practiced efficiency. The hangar bay doors began to close, an automated response to the emergency. Maya gunned the scout ship's engines, lifting off and accelerating toward the narrowing gap. The craft shuddered as it scraped through the closing doors, alarms screaming at the proximity warning. But then she was through, out into the void of space, with the massive Kavarian flagship falling behind her. Pursuit would come soon. Maya plotted a course away from the main Dominion fleet, pushing the scout ship to its maximum velocity. As the stars blurred around her, she finally allowed herself a moment to breathe, to feel the ache in her ribs, the lingering electrical burn on her arm from the cell's shock. She activated the ship's communication array, tuning it to a frequency that had remained silent for 20 days. A frequency that, according to the Dominion, should have no one left to receive it. Phoenix actual to nest, she transmitted, using the code phrases established long before Earth's supposed fall. The eagle has talons. I repeat, the eagle has talons. For long moments, there was only static. Then, faintly, through layers of encryption and signal masking, copy Phoenix actual. Nest receives. The web is woven. Return to coordinates follows. Maya's lips curved into a genuine smile as a string of navigation data flowed across her screen. Earth had fallen, yes, but humanity was far from defeated, and the Kavarian Dominion was about to learn exactly why humans didn't fit into their neat classifications. The real war was just beginning. Signal in the dark. They're gaining, Flight Officer Talia Chen announced, her voice steady despite the tension evident in her grip on the navigation controls. Maya didn't look up from the scout ship's engine diagnostics. How many? 3 pursuit craft. Dominion interceptors, Resorclaw class. Time to intercept. 4 minutes at current velocity. Maya nodded, continuing to work. The stolen Kavarian scout ship wasn't designed for prolonged high-speed chases. Its advantages lay in stealth and maneuverability, not raw power. But those weren't the only advantages at her disposal. Talia, remember the Ganymede maneuver? A ghost of a smile crossed the flight officer's face. The one that got 4 of us court-martialed. That's the one. Talia's fingers flew across the controls, plotting a new course. It won't work exactly the same in this ship. The thrust vectors are different, and I don't know if the hull can withstand that kind of gravitational shear. We don't need it to work exactly the same, Maya replied, finishing her modifications to the engine systems. We just need it to work well enough. The scout ship banked sharply, accelerating toward a nearby asteroid field that bordered a small nebula, remnants of a star that had gone supernova centuries ago. The debris field was dense, unpredictable, and saturated with radiation that played havoc with sensors, a navigator's nightmare and a fugitive's dream. Behind them, the Kavarian interceptors adjusted course to match, their superior engines closing the gap with methodical precision. "They're hailing us," Talia reported. "Standard surrender demand. They're threatening to fire if we don't reduce speed and power down in 10 seconds. Maya finally looked up, meeting her friend's eyes. Right on schedule. Talia had been stationed at a hidden resistance outpost when Maya's transmission came through. She piloted the extraction craft that rendezvoused with Maya's stolen scout ship at the coordinates provided by Nest, the code name for humanity's central command structure, now operating from the shadows. Entering the asteroid field in 30 seconds, Talia announced, "Brace for evasive maneuvers." The ship shuddered as it plunged into the field, massive rocks tumbling around them in a chaotic dance. Talia's hands moved with almost prescient speed, guiding their craft through gaps that seemed to materialize just as they needed them. Behind them, the Kavarian interceptors entered the field in tight formation, their more rigid flight patterns already putting them at a disadvantage. One clipped an asteroid and spun out, its shields flaring blue as they absorbed the impact. "Now," Maya said as they approached the densest part of the field, where asteroids gave way to clouds of dust and radiation from the nebula beyond. "Full reverse thrusters on my mark." Talia's hand hovered over the control. "This is the part that got us court-martialed." "Mark." The scout ship's engine screamed in protest as Talia slammed the thrusters into full reverse. Simultaneously, Maya diverted power from life support to the ship's structural integrity field, creating a momentary bubble of reinforced energy around the craft. Physics did the rest. The sudden deceleration sent their pursuers shooting past them, unable to match the maneuver without warning. One interceptor managed to veer away. The other two collided with each other, their shields flashing brilliantly before failing, leaving them tumbling helplessly through the asteroid field. "Ganymede maneuver," Talia said with satisfaction. "Still works. Reroute power to the aft shields and get us out of here," Maya ordered, already moving to the ship's communication array. "The third interceptor will recover and call for backup." As Talia guided them out of the asteroid field along a different vector, Maya established a secure connection to Nest. The transmission was heavily encrypted, bounced through multiple relays, hidden throughout the sector, technology that predated the Kavarian invasion, put in place by forward-thinking elements within Earth's defense structure. "Phoenix actual reporting," she began. "Package secured, returning to base with critical intelligence." The response came not in words, but in a series of coded pulses, a new set of coordinates, different from their original destination. "Change of plans," Maya told Talia, transferring the coordinates to the navigation system. "We're being redirected." Talia studied the new destination. "That's in the Helios cluster. There's nothing out there but abandoned mining operations. Apparently there's something," Maya replied. "Something important enough for Nest to change protocols." As they set course for the Helios cluster, Maya turned her attention to the data she had stolen from the Kavarian flagship. Her escape had been only one objective of her mission. The primary goal had been intelligence gathering, specifically, information about something the Dominion called the Archivists. The data was encrypted, but Maya had downloaded decryption algorithms along with the files themselves. As the scout ship accelerated to maximum sustainable speed, she began the process of unlocking the Dominion secrets. Hours later, as Talia caught a brief rest in the ship's small crew quarters, Maya stared at the decrypted information with a mixture of shock and vindication. The Archivists weren't a what. They were a group of Kavarians who had been collecting and studying human culture, history, and psychology since first contact, not for understanding or preservation, but for exploitation. They had been analyzing human weaknesses, human patterns, human predictability. But they had missed something crucial, something Maya and a select few others had recognized early in the conflict. The Dominion's fatal flaw was its certainty, its absolute confidence that once it understood a species, it understood all possible outcomes. The information continued to unfold before her. The Dominion believed Earth's defense forces had been completely eradicated. They believed the scattered human colonies across the solar system had been neutralized or contained. They believed victory was complete. They were wrong. The scout ship's proximity alarm chimed softly as they approached the Helios cluster. The region was a graveyard of human ambition. Mining operations abandoned after resources were depleted, automated stations left to run on minimal power, hollowed-out asteroids that once housed thousands of workers now drifting empty. Or so everyone thought. "I'm picking up a signal," Talia said, returning to the cockpit. "Weak, encrypted. It's on an old Earth military frequency." Maya nodded. "Follow it in. Keep sensors at maximum range. Just because we're expected doesn't mean we're the only ones tracking that signal." The signal led them to an asteroid larger than the others, its surface pockmarked with abandoned mining installations. As they approached, a section of the asteroid's surface shimmered and dissolved, a holographic disguise concealing a hangar entrance. "Impressive," Talia murmured as she guided their ship inside. The hangar was vast, far larger than seemed possible for the asteroid. And it wasn't empty. Dozens of ships lined the walls, some human-made, others clearly salvaged from various species, including the Kavarians. People moved with purpose across the floor, a hive of activity that spoke of long preparation. As their ship settled onto the landing pad, Maya caught sight of a familiar figure waiting for them, Admiral Helena Sorensen, former commander of Earth's orbital defense grid, and the architect of humanity's contingency plan. "Welcome to Prometheus Base," Admiral Sorensen said as Maya and Talia disembarked. "We've been waiting for you, Commander Reeves." "Admiral," Maya saluted. "I was under the impression you died during the fall of Luna Base." "That was the intention," Sorensen replied with the hint of a smile. "The Dominion needed to believe they'd cut off the head of Earth's military command. It gave us the space we needed." She gestured for them to follow. "Walk with me. There's something you need to see." The Admiral led them through corridors carved directly into the asteroid, reinforced with alien alloys and humming with power systems Maya didn't recognize. People, soldiers and civilians alike, nodded respectfully as they passed. Many looked at Maya with expressions approaching awe. "Word of your escape has spread," Sorensen explained, noting Maya's discomfort with the attention. "It's given people hope. The first real victory since Earth fell." "It wasn't just me," Maya said. "I had help." "Indeed you did." The Admiral stopped before a massive door, placing her hand on a scanner. "The virus you carried was designed by the best minds we managed to evacuate before the invasion. Your mission was the culmination of months of preparation, Commander. And now it's bearing fruit beyond what we anticipated." The door slid open, revealing a circular chamber dominated by a holographic display of the galaxy. Portions of it glowed red. Kavarian-controlled space, encompassing nearly a third of the known systems. Small blue points pulsed throughout the red. Human resistance cells, outposts, hidden bases. But what drew Maya's attention was a series of green lines, spreading like a web from system to system, connecting the blue points in patterns that made no obvious strategic sense. "What am I looking at, Admiral?" "The Ghost Protocol," Sorensen replied. "Activated the moment your signal confirmed successful extraction from the flagship." Maya studied the display, understanding dawning. Sleeper agents, embedded tech, both, and more. Sorensen manipulated the display, zooming in on a particular sector. "For the past decade, Humanity has been preparing for the possibility of an overwhelming force. We developed technologies, planted operatives, created backdoors in systems throughout explored space. Not just military targets. Tali observed, seeing the pattern. Civilian infrastructure, trade routes, communication hubs. Correct, Flight Officer Chen. The Dominion's strength is its unity. A single command structure governing thousands of worlds. But that strength is also a vulnerability. Maya considered the implications. You're planning to cripple their entire empire. Not immediately, Sorensen replied. First, we gather intelligence. Your escape was phase 1. It forced them to activate emergency protocols, giving us access to communication channels we couldn't reach before. Now we're hearing chatter about something called the Awakening Project. Maya nodded. It was in the data I stole. The archivists have been studying human creativity, our ability to adapt and innovate. They'd been trying to understand it, replicate it, and weaponize it, Sorensen confirmed grimly. They'd been experimenting on human prisoners, trying to extract what they see as the essence of our unpredictability. The Admiral turned to face Maya directly. Commander Reeves, your mission was a success beyond measure. But it was just the beginning. The Dominion believes they're hunting a fugitive. In reality, they've released a virus into their system. What's my next objective? Maya asked, straightening. The Awakening Project is headquartered on a research station orbiting Proxima Centauri, the first star system humanity tried to colonize, now a Kavarian stronghold. We need to know exactly what they've discovered, and we need to shut it down before they can implement it. Sorensen gestured to a ship visible through a viewport, sleeker than standard human vessels, with technology clearly adapted from multiple sources. That's the Spectre, the Admiral said. Our most advanced stealth ship, incorporating everything we've learned from studying Dominion technology. It can mask not just its presence but its nature, appearing as debris, as a Kavarian vessel, or as nothing at all. Maya studied the ship with professional appreciation. When do we leave? You and a small team depart in 6 hours. We're still gathering intelligence on the research station's defenses. As Sorensen discussed the details of the mission, Maya felt a strange sensation, something she hadn't experienced since before Earth's fall. It took her a moment to recognize it as hope. The Kavarians had conquered Earth, yes. They had taken humanity's homeworld, destroyed its fleet, and scattered its people. But they had failed to understand what they were truly fighting against. Humans didn't just adapt to survive. They evolved to win. And the Dominion was about to learn what happened when humanity stopped running and started hunting. The Ghost Protocol. The Kavarian research station orbiting Proxima Centauri resembled a massive spider. A central hub with 8 extending arms, each housing different research divisions. It hung in space like a predator, patient and menacing, surrounded by a defense grid capable of atomizing approaching vessels before they came within 1,000,000 kilometers. From the bridge of the Spectre, Maya studied the station's schematics, memorizing entry points and security checkpoints. Beside her, her newly assembled team did the same. 4 specialists chosen for this mission, each bringing unique skills. Impressive security, said Raj Kapoor, the team's technology expert. Formerly the head of Earth's cybersecurity division, he had escaped the invasion by being off-planet, upgrading satellites when the attack came. Multiple overlapping sensor systems, automated defense platforms with independent targeting algorithms, and, my personal favorite, biological scanners calibrated to detect human DNA. Can you bypass them? Maya asked. Raj's smile was slight but confident. The Kavarians build excellent systems, but they're creatures of pattern. Once you understand their logic, you can find the holes they never consider. Dr. Eliza Santos, the mission's xenobiologist, pointed to the station's 3rd arm. That's where they're keeping the test subjects, human prisoners, based on the environmental settings. The temperature and atmospheric composition are adjusted to Earth normal conditions. Maya nodded. How many? Impossible to tell from external scans, replied Commander Jackson Wade, the team's tactical specialist and former head of Luna Base's security forces. But based on power allocation to that section, I'd estimate between 50 and 70 individuals. The fifth member of their team, Specialist Naomi Okoro, hadn't spoken since the briefing began. As the only member with direct experience inside Kavarian research facilities, having escaped one during the early days of the invasion, her silence carried weight. Naomi, Maya said gently, talk to me about what we'll face inside. Naomi's eyes, haunted but resolute, met Maya's. The exterior security is just the beginning. Inside, they use pheromone-based identification systems. Their own people literally smell different depending on their security clearance. The research divisions are compartmentalized, with independent power and life support. And the security drones, she paused. They don't just scan. They observe behavior. Movement patterns that don't match Kavarian norms trigger immediate lockdown. So we can't hack in, we can't sneak in, and we can't fight our way in, Jackson summarized. Perfect. Maya's lips curved slightly. Actually, it is perfect. They've created a system so focused on preventing infiltration that they've overlooked the obvious. We don't infiltrate, Raj said, catching on. We get invited in. Exactly. Specialist Okoro, how were prisoners transported to the facility? Naomi considered the question. Medical transports, heavily guarded, specially designed for containing subjects. They arrive on a regular schedule, every 14 solar days, based on the patterns I observed. Maya turned to the holographic display, showing the station's traffic logs, which Raj had hacked from a nearby communication relay. And the next transport is due in 22 hours. You want to hijack a prisoner transport? Jackson asked, skepticism evident. With all due respect, Commander, those ships are flying fortresses. We don't need to hijack one, Maya replied. We just need to become one. She activated a different display, showing the Spectre's advanced metamorphic hull. This ship was designed to mimic other vessels. With the right transponder codes and exterior configuration, we can appear to be exactly what they're expecting. Dr. Santos frowned. That gets us to the docking bay. But what about inside? We don't exactly look like Avarians. We don't need to. Maya brought up another file. Schematics for something labeled Phantom Protocol. This is what the science division at Prometheus Base has been developing. Holographic overlays, combined with pheromone synthesizers. We won't just look like Avarians. We'll smell like them, move like them. The team studied the technology with varying degrees of skepticism and hope. It's never been field-tested, Raj noted. It has now, Maya replied simply. We launch in 6 hours. Get familiar with your Kavarian identities and the station layout. Questions? There were none, at least none that mattered. Every member of the team understood the stakes. If the Dominion succeeded in weaponizing human adaptability, adding it to their already formidable capabilities, the resistance would be crushed before it could truly begin. 6 hours later, the Spectre departed Prometheus Base, its systems reconfiguring to match the profile of a Kavarian medical transport. As the ship accelerated toward Proxima Centauri, Maya sat alone in her quarters, reviewing the mission parameters one final time. A knock at her door interrupted her thoughts. Enter, she called. Admiral Sorensen stepped inside, surprising Maya. The Admiral hadn't been scheduled to join the mission. Commander, Sorensen said, taking the seat without waiting for an invitation. There's something you need to know before you reach the research station. Maya set aside her tablet. I'm listening. The Ghost Protocol is more extensive than I initially revealed. It's not just about gathering intelligence or disrupting Dominion operations. Sorensen's expression was grim. It's about changing the nature of the conflict entirely. How? The Admiral activated a small device, projecting a hologram of what appeared to be microscopic machines. Nanites. developed from technology we discovered during the early exploration of the Kuiper Belt, not Kaverian, something much older. We've modified them to target specific genetic markers. Maya stared at the projection, understanding dawning. This is a bioweapon. It's a reset button. Sorensen corrected. These nanites are designed to neutralize the Kaverian genetic advantage, their hive mind capability, their accelerated healing, their ability to process and share information across their neural network. You're talking about genetically crippling an entire species. I'm talking about leveling the playing field. Sorensen's voice hardened. The Dominion didn't just invade Earth, Commander. They systematically eliminated 70% of our population. Billions of lives, erased because we were deemed incompatible with their vision of galactic order. Maya stood, pacing the small confines of her quarters. And we respond by becoming what they fear, by proving them right about us. We respond by surviving. Sorensen countered. The nanites won't kill them. They'll simply equalize the conflict, reduce their advantages, make it a fair fight. There's nothing fair about war, Admiral. We both know that. Sorensen sighed, suddenly looking every year of her age. Your mission remains the same, Commander. Infiltrate the research station, gather intelligence on the Awakening Project, and extract any human prisoners you can. What happens after that is a decision for another day. After the Admiral left, Maya stood motionless, weighing the implications. The Resistance was walking a moral tightrope, balancing survival against becoming the very thing they fought against. She had no illusions about the Dominion's brutality. She had witnessed it firsthand, had lost friends and family to it. But this. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts, the ship's eye announcing their approach to the Proxima Centauri's security perimeter. Maya pushed aside her ethical dilemma. Whatever decision lay ahead, it would matter only if they completed their current mission. 12 hours later, disguised as a Kaverian medical transport, the Spectre docked at the research station without incident. Maya and her team, their appearances altered by the Phantom Protocol's technology, disembarked onto the station, moving with the distinctive gait of Kaverian medical personnel. Security checkpoint ahead, Raj murmured through their secure communication system. Biometric scanners active. Maya approached the checkpoint with practiced confidence, presenting fabricated credentials. The security officer,